Okay, time has finally come. This here is the mower I've featured in videos but not had a full video dedicated to it. It's a Craftsman push mower powered by a Honda GCV160. It was built in 2002 according to the tag that's on it. If these serial numbers read the same way I think they do, it was made in the end of February of 2002. The model number has been scraped apart, but I think it's 917-388-800. That's what I use to get all my parts anyway. So I've had this thing around since 2011, right about the end of the year, around September. There was a video I made where I was talking about it having some potential and all that. And I've been keeping it in service for all this time. It's been probably the best mower that my household has ever had. We've had everything from old Murray 20s with Briggs & Stratton engines on them to Craftsman Eager 1s with Tecumsehs. We've even had a brand new MTD like yard machines thing with a Briggs & Stratton on it. That one didn't last because I wasn't the one taking care of them at the time. I was just a kid. But I've been taking really good care of this one. I've made it last longer than any of those other ones. So today I'm going to actually do some maintenance on it, and I'm going to be replacing some parts that have broken over the years. The choke control, I had to... Here's for starters, we're doing the choke cable. This handle broke off right here and rendered this unusable, so I cut the cable off and bent it up like this so I could still use it. Because on this engine, you need it to be able to start it. There's no primer bulb or anything. Then I'm going to replace. You can see I modified the fuel line to have a double filter. There's a screen that should be right about here, and then there's a filter here because debris is still getting past this and clogging up the jet on my carburetor every once in a while. I'd have to take the bolt off and poke a wire through to clean it out. I have to do it almost all the time, and this has kind of made it so I don't have to do it as much, if at all. Let's see what else. I'm going to be changing the oil on this because last time I changed it was a few seasons ago. It doesn't get run very much, so my maintenance intervals are few and far between. I'm going to finally change the air filter after several years, because now it's actually starting to look pretty bad. Every year I would check the air filter, it would still look clean, but now it's finally been put through enough use that I definitely have to change it now. I'm also going to lubricate the recoil. I had to replace this a few years back. I'm going to replace the fuel cap because squirrels keep chewing a hole in it. And then there's this skirt. It came off the back here. I'm going to replace that. Oh, water got in. And I'm also going to sharpen and balance the blade, or at least attempt to balance it. See, I've had this in service for 8 years, and it's hardly ever let me down, if at all. I've even used it to cut other people's yards. I've already changed the spark plug a few seasons back, but that was because I broke the old one somehow. And like I said, this barely gets used as much as your typical lawnmower, so I don't do maintenance on it as often as normally you would. I think there's no gas in the tank, but there is gas. I might just put gas in the tank anyway. Look at that, they even chewed this. So this seal probably doesn't even do that much anymore. I pressure wash this so there's a little bit of moisture. So I guess, what else? I think I was going to go into detail about how these were made, but I don't think it really matters, like how many people actually care about that. Well, I'll go over it anyway. It was made, I think this one was made when Poulan was still, he was either still making these, or it was either before or after Husqvarna bought them out. Regardless, Husqvarna now makes this type, if they even still make it, because every part that I've gotten, if it wasn't aftermarket, it was Husqvarna that I could get it through. It wasn't Sears or anything. This particular model is kind of a fancy setup because it has ball bearing wheels, which I absolutely love. And then it has this padded grip here, which I've kind of fixed up over time because it's split on the ends here. I think a piece of this eventually just came all the way off. And this flat bar, so you barely feel it when you put it down. It's more comfortable to use. I'm just going to take it out here so I don't kick up anything and hit my stuff. This yard is awful. I'm still going to use this season to bag up leaves, so I don't mind putting a little bit of gas in it. Plenty. So this is what I have to do to start it. I have to reach down, pull that. This still sticks a bit, so I'm taking this off to lubricate it, like I said. I've had to replace one of these studs at 1.2 because these nuts just seized on. Right around the same time I replaced the recoil. And I've also broken this mount here for the heat shield. Just snapped off the block. I haven't had a ton of luck with finding a way to fix that. Thankfully for these engines, this serviceability was pretty well thought out. Despite the fact that this thing does not have a drain bolt underneath, drain plug, meaning you have to tip this thing over to drain the oil out. Once you do tip this over, you can access and service everything else. But before I do that, I'm going to take this apart while I can still get to it. I made this serviceable again too, where the zip tie holding this cable to the handles can be undone in the event where I had to do this. Good enough. I don't remember being mounted like this though. Grab my pliers. Actually, I can just squeeze that with my fingers. Should grab needle nose pliers for this. Here we go. And just like that. If I get it twisted the right way. Oop. See. Find the best way to move this. Should probably be like this. Come on. There we go. back together it goes. Realistically, I should be making this to where these cables won't bind against each other when I fold this down. Oh, actually, it would probably just do just fine like that. So yeah. A little bit strange. It's a little stiff, but well, not stiff, but it's loose-ish. Not even sure if that's the full travel. No, it is. Just feels weird. Anyway, now onto this. This is kind of a tricky way to do this. Most people your professionals would actually put a siphon pump in, just pour it out into a tank and keep it around until they're ready to recycle it. Normally I am one of those people, but not today. So with that being drained, all of my service stuff is now out in the open. I can get to the blade, I can get to my air filter. I bought an older stock genuine Honda. I don't think Honda makes these particular ones anymore. They're a different color now. But I saw the new ones in Home Depot and wasn't sure if they were really going to fit my air box or not. Pleats are a little bit messed up, but that's okay. Lots of these services are somewhat toolless. And with the fuel tank and the end of the fuel tank, like the fuel tank drain being up here, if you have your fuel level like halfway up, it's, you know, sits here, it doesn't spill out. So I can change out my cap, and I went aftermarket for this. This one's actually more like what was originally on it. And did the same for the blade adapter. I'll show you what happened to that one. I shouldn't be using chrome sockets for impact, I know that. Oh wow, this one's on there. I don't remember putting it on that tight. This is a fairly new blade. Bought this from Sears forever ago. But it's dull now, so it's time to sharpen it. If I can get this adapter off. That crankshaft end plate is kind of iffy, but actually you can see right here it's misaligned. Hopefully I can get that off. Thankfully I have a Pippin arm puller that should do just the trick. And I don't have to run out and get a socket to fit this. It's got a 3/8 on it. Hmm. Alright, finally. That's our problem. I'm actually going to hit this with the wire wheel. Let me see if I have any anti-seize laying around. Put that on. And of course I don't, but I do have this stuff. Some grease left over from when I did my bearings. It's high temperature, so it should help. Not what I need, but it's better than nothing. These Blue Jays. I wonder if I can just... No, that's good. No, I can just bend this and put it on probably. Slip it on. I think. Yeah, just like that. Alright, good. Do that. Let's get our fuel filter on. Flow matters on these. Okay. Skirt doesn't want to flip back, which kind of bugs me. But other than that, this thing's complete. Everything's fixed. New air filter. Looking all nice. I think that was causing it to run a little bit rich before, because every time I started back up, it would blow some black smoke, so it was plugged. That was long overdue. New filter. And hopefully I won't have to change that out again for a while. Gas cap. It still leaks a bit, but it's better than having that big hole chewed through it. Oil's been changed. Oh yeah, my battery died on my other camera, so I'm using my phone right now to finish this video up. I even put a little bit of seafoam in there, put some in the tank too, ran that to the carburetor, so hopefully it'll stabilize it a bit. And now I have an operating choke at the correct position. I don't have to lean down and do that anymore. So I'm probably going to use this to clean up leaves once they finally fall. And then I'll put her away for the winter. Things been so amazingly reliable compared to anything else I've had. Maybe it's just because now I know how to work on these things. They last longer as long as they're in my hands. Alright, that's it.